Welcome, everybody, live from my living room, except I seem frozen, but let's see, we can always change that. Anyway, let's get us side by side. Hello, everybody. Hi, how are you? This is Panic Girl, and I wanted to first say I absolutely love that piece. This is called Red Star Synth Witch Remix, and is this from your latest album?
I think it's from, my latest or the one before. I don't remember exactly. I think it was Cake on Jupiter though, the one before
Yes,
Blue.
yes, exactly.
And yeah, I love that remix too. Synthwitch did a great job on that. She's such an amazing producer. So yeah,
So tell me a
she's
little
just
bit about
great.
Synthwitch.
She is an artist from the US. And I just discovered her on Instagram, I think, or Facebook, and then followed her ever since. And I always listen to her little snippets, her productions. She also does music with a modular synthesizer mainly. And yeah, I always loved it. And then just asked her if she would be interested in doing a remix for me. And she happily said yes. I was very
Fantastic.
lucky.
Fantastic. As usual, we have the small technical issue. I seem to be frozen in time, but since the show is not about me as much as it is about you, I will get
We hope
this.
you unfreeze.
This is very strange. I have not seen this one yet, but hey, that's what it's all about. Live performance is always a crapshoot. So again, this is
That's
a little
true.
bit better than the last time. So because the last time we were having some freezing things going on. So let me see if I can. Here we go. All right. So everyone, I do assure you that I am live and well, but we are now in full studio mode, and let's talk a little bit first about your the beginnings of Panic Girl. You are known as Panic Girl, and you have some fans here that really love your stuff, which is great. Jim Glue says, "Hey Martha." um, so also known as Martha Bahr, and you are in Munich right now, or just outside of Munich?
Yeah, I moved to a little town outside of Munich just a year ago. So I'm still saying it's Munich because it's very nearby.
Mhm.
And yeah, because we wanted to have a little house with a garden, and in Munich it's just impossible to get something unless you're rich. So yeah, and here it's a beautiful little garden, and the grandparents are just nearby. So that's very nice over here.
Oh, wonderful! So you get to see family a lot and like that.
Yeah, and more space for my studio. That's also a great advantage.
So you have a classical upbringing. You said in your bio it does mention that you have taken piano lessons as well as other music lessons. Tell us a little bit about your early musical experiences. I'm always interested to hear that.
Yeah, sure. So I always knew I wanted to be involved with music in some way. It was very clear for me for the first time I heard music when I don't know, consciously when I was about 4 or 5, I guess. And I knew, wow, I need to do something with music. And the first thing in that direction that led me into the yeah, more musical pathway, I would say, were my piano lessons that I got at about the age of 5 or 6 with my brother together. And after that, I think the next thing was me taking choir lessons, or I attended the choir at school from an early age until I graduated, actually, for a very long time. That was very much fun. We had concerts, and yeah, it was quite a large group. We also had exchanges with choirs from Scotland, for example, and it was really, really nice. We did all sorts of songs, from more classical ones to more playful musical style songs. So yeah, that was a very, very nice experience to have. And then I also had a little bit of guitar lessons, but not too long, to be honest, for about a year or so. So I like playing guitar, but I'm not really good at it. But I really like the sound of it. So sometimes I'm sampling some notes but I also know some very good guitar players here in Munich, so I can ask them if I really need some proper guitar playing. And I think, yeah, that's about it. I had some vocal lessons as well, but not too many because I always like to play around with a microphone with I don't know, I always like to use my voice more like an instrument layer. And not like the on it's not on top of a track like the main attraction of a song, but more like yeah, another instrument. It's like I don't know if you know the band Tool.
Yes.
That's how they mix also their tracks, and I don't know, it's inspired me, and I'm doing it ever since in that direction. So
Oh, okay. So, is this your first solo project, or did you previously, other than the chorus and the the early music, what was your transition from your training to Panic Girl?
um first, when I was about 15, 16, I guess, I had a band. We were called Unmuted, and yeah, we were just a bunch of friends doing music. It was very fun times, and we had some concerts too. And after that, yeah, I discovered I was playing guitar and singing in that band. By the way, it was more like pop and rock songs. And after that, or during that time actually, someone told me about the School of Audio Engineering, the SAE Institute. And I knew right away, okay, that's my path. I was studying at that time then when I discovered this institute for audio engineering. And yeah, I stopped my studies at the university to go to the institute to make my audio engineering diploma. And from there, I learned about all the also all the synthesizers that are out there. I didn't know too much at that point back then because were more in the guitar world and singing world and pop rock songs. And then I discovered all this Massive Attack, Portishead,
Uh,
synthesizers, and I was just blown away. And yeah, that was actually the start of Panic Girl back then.
so you opened that Pandora's box and you went,
Yes. That huge box.
yeah. And never shall return. But I think it's a huge, vast universe more than a box. So I think that this is a wonderful path. So in your early experience, you played in nightclubs or concert halls, or what type of?
As Panic Girl,
Yes, before,
uh,
let's say before the pandemic. What kind of venues have you played in?
my first concert actually, I think with my modular synthesizer at least,
Yeah.
was at Superbooth. That was quite exciting for me because I got to play the big concert hall room at the Superbooth in the Feds building in Berlin. And yeah, that was the first time with a modular on stage. That in itself is quite can be risky. It's not the easiest thing to do, I guess, but yeah, it was fantastic. I had also my Jawmox drum machine with me, and I played with a good friend of mine, Jericho, on stage. And yeah, it was just fantastic. It was a really amazing experience to hear the music I made with Jericho at that point on this huge PA. It's just great. It's just the child in me wanting to screaming louder, louder, make the music louder. Where yeah, it's just fun to hear the own music as loud as possible. So that was great.
Very nice.
And yeah, and ever since I played several venues like also some clubs from time to time, or outdoor. I had outdoor sessions. I also play with Anatol Locker as Lucid Grain. That's a more experimental modular duo we have, more in the ambient direction. And as Panic Girl, I'm also playing whoever books me.
So tell me about some of your influences. When you started to talk more about how you got into synthesizer music. Who were your influences?
So mainly, I have to say, Massive Attack was a huge,
Mm,
huge influence. I don't know how many times I listened to this album, Mezzanine.
yes, it's one of my
Mainly,
favorites.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
amazing. There's such a dark atmosphere that's just a whole world in itself, and so well produced. Just sounded amazing. In the beginning, I always tried to sound like a little bit like them. And also as I mentioned, Portishead for sure, but I also was very much influenced, by Pink Floyd my whole life. I just love them. My parents introduced them to me, um, and also their synthesizer work they
yes.
had in their music, just amazing, though they're very different throughout their albums, but I love all of their phases, to be honest. And then later on, yeah, Susanne Ciani is amazing.
Hmm.
I really love her. And one of the more recent artists, for example, Caitlin Aurelia Smith. I really love her work. It's very unique. Also with the voice, how she uses her voice in her tracks. And yeah, there are quite many who influenced me.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see the integration of voice and synthesizer. It's not used as often as one would think, especially coming from uh, some of the early synthesizer music that was so influential. And I'm very much appreciative of that. I think it brings a warmth and the idea that you can modulate your voice and modulate a synthesizer. I think there's a parallel there that deserves a lot of exploration, and I really appreciate the integration that you use, which is one of the reasons why I picked that first piece for the introduction. I loved how your voice was integrated in there, and
More
what
like an effect. She used it in the remix also more like an effect. I like that very much too.
and it was almost a punctuation. Your voice came in, it was at a specific beat. I was when I was trying to. Uh, I did this video and I tried to put this video together, and I was trying to think about ways to emphasize your voice with the image, and it was just uh, a wonderful exercise in just becoming one with the music. We are going to have a little concert of yours that you created a wonderful ambient art piece for us. And can you tell us a little bit about your introduction to the ARP 2600 that's sitting behind you and how that fits in with your Eurorack? And then we'll listen to this piece.
Yeah, sure. So, I got this beauty about, I don't know, 7, 8 years ago. And, yeah, I have to say ever since, I'm really still impressed by the sonic, capabilities. And I have to say, sometimes when I don't play it for a month, for example, or some weeks, and then I plug it in again and listen to it. I'm every time I'm getting goosebumps because it has such a depth to it. I can't describe it. I have tons of synthesizers, and I have listened to so many software synths, and they sound beautiful on their own, definitely, and they have their own beauty. But the ARP has such a deepness to it. It's just amazing in my ears. And it's, I guess, it is also because it's so old. By now, it is, of course, because it's analog, um, but also because it's by now very old and maybe it has some dust in its circuits, and it's somehow very, it sounds sometimes a little bit nasty, a little bit, I don't know, very characterful, like like an old wine which is getting better and better over the years, somehow. That's how I listen to the ARP. And yeah, I really love the layout of the ARP. I wish more synthesizer companies would, like, do it like it's very educational, especially for beginners, with all the diagrams, all the arrows. You can very clearly see from where the signal flow is going, where in which section it will be then next. You can also use it without any patch cables at all. As it's semi-modular, um, and yeah, I use it for for everything, for every kind of sound. Um, it can do all of the sounds very well, but I think it excels at bass sounds, like very yeah, heavy, and it could be perfect for a big screen, cinema screen, for example, with its bass tones, but also lead sounds, pads. I really like the spring reverb that is in there too, a lot. And yeah, and it's very well thought through. It's really amazing for its age. And how many functionalities it has in there already, like just a simple multiple down there to just copy a signal to have it at more places in the synthesizer. That's so simple, of course, but you have to think of it. It's not the first thing, I guess, you think when you design, or plan your modular system. That just comes usually later on. Okay, I could copy this clock and then use it at some point else in the synthesizer, but it's already in such an old synthesizer, it's already there, or all these voltage processors down below and the sample and hold. Yeah, but yeah, I could go on forever. But it's really perfect, especially for beginners, because it's so, also with the faders you see exactly what's going on. If you, yeah, just look at it, you see where which fader is and what it does. You understand it very quickly, so it's beautiful.
Yes, I have to say I'm a little bit biased, but one, I had a conversation with Jean-Michel Jarre last year where he pointed out that at some point we have to look at them not as machines but as instruments. And because of that, what I think has happened with the 2600 is it's become timeless, as in, say, a violin. At this point, a violin is hundreds and hundreds, maybe 1,000 years old, but it can still be played with a synthesizer on its own in a modern setting, in any setting. And I think because it's such a self-contained universe of an instrument, that it now can start to be in that timeless way, and can integrate nicely with Eurorack and other modern synthesizer units. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play this piece, and then we'll come back and talk about your gear. There's a few people here from the ProSynth network that I think would love to see what kind of gear you have in your studios. So, all right,
Yeah, sure.
let's get this going. Hold on a second. Ambient ARP. That was so beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, we're gonna try to just restart the camera. So if you don't mind, I'm going to try something with everybody here because I don't want to interrupt. Uh, so, what would be an Archives Live without a problem on?
That's live.
That's live. All right.
That's live.
All right. So let's try the camera. And she's still not talking here. Hello, hello.
But it's a very nice screenshot of you.
Okay, so there's only one choice. We can either go on with the frozen me, or we will just go on with you. So I think that the choice is to go on with you, and like that, people have seen me before. It's fine. So tell us about how you made this, and show us some of the equipment that went along into making this beautiful piece.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, sure. I made this piece only with the ARP. I had the more bassy pad sound, and then I played a more with the upper pitches, a melody on top of it. And the patch itself is quite easy. I can show you quickly. Wait a
Oh,
second. I have
please.
to.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah.
Please show us.
I'll just have to turn up the sound here so I hear it as well. So I used two oscillators, or let's begin maybe with this the keyboard sequencer keyboard I used to play the melodies and the notes for this piece, and I connected it over here to this multiple, the output of the Arturia keyboard to the ARP, and then I had the copy of this signal going to oscillator 1 and one to oscillator 3, and those are both tuned to C, but they're slightly off. So little vibrations are coming and going. Let me check quickly so you can hear it a little bit in the background. Is it too low? Should I pull it up a bit?
I can hear it pretty well.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, depending on how, of course, you tune the oscillators, you have it very much in sync and perfectly in sync, or you detune one of the oscillators and then you get those nice little vibrations. And also what you're hearing now, it's the volume is going up and down, or better said, the filter cutoff. So I used oscillator 2 because we have 3 here at the ARP synthesizer, and I used the second oscillator, the sine wave output, to control here the filter cutoff of the ARP synthesizer. So I have it set up here very slow. So if I here increase just the frequency of oscillator 2, you can hear it being much faster. You can get different results with it, of course. And that's a very simple patch, but I think one of your former guests also said that the ARP in itself sounds so beautiful that you don't need to do those crazy, super experimental patches, which are interesting too. But mostly it's just a simple, beautiful sounds with a little bit of modulation, a little bit of variation, and that's just what's beautiful about this synthesizer. And also when you play it in lower, just the bass layers are very beautiful. For example, over here, I just love how it grows down there. The upper resistance. Yeah, and the waves when it comes in and out of the filter is beautiful too. Yeah, and I have a little bit of reverb, the spring reverb, also in this patch. Yeah, that's about it. What I used for this track, and that's all. It's very simple to make a good, nice sounding track with this synthesizer.
We have a question from Jim Glue. He would like to know, how did you get that noisy mellotron type of sound?
Yeah, I did that by increasing the frequency. Wait a second. I think maybe I increased the frequency of oscillator 2 to get it very. Or by detuning the both oscillators. But I think I did it with the cutoff frequency that I played it faster, that I modulated it faster, because I didn't use any external effects for this piece at all.
Oh, wow. Wow. I would love to know also, what you have it plugged. You have a small keyboard there. It's only what, 2 octaves?
Yeah, two and a half.
2.5
The
octaves.
Arturia keyboard.
Okay. And what else is in your studio? Show us your studio.
Yeah, I show you as much as the cables allow me to move the camera. So down below over here, usually my studio isn't set up one way. It's always what I just need at this special week or month, and then I'll just arrange it differently every time. Also for my videos on Instagram and YouTube with my colored backgrounds, I'll always set it up here and then just pull the instruments I need for that. So yeah, but usually over here I also have like here one half of my modular synthesizer. The other 2 rows are over there on the table. I'll show you in a second. Yeah, I love my modular synthesizers very much. I had my first one about 10 years ago. Here is another case, one of the first ones I got. This case is from Döpfer, very sturdy, and you can just carry it everywhere around. It has a lid, so when it rains it is protected. That's very good. Very solid. And over here's just my computer workstations with my loudspeakers, where I'm mixing and working. Then, and on this side I have another table with my Moog Matriarch. I hope you can hear me still.
I can very well.
Probably. Okay, great. Here my Matriarch synthesizer from Moog.
Oh, pretty.
And yeah, that's
it's a very pretty synthesizer.
very well, great sounding too, very warm as well. And here I have a skiff modular with the new Buchla Eurorec Buchla modules in it. Very interesting. And here are the other 2 rows that go with the ones I showed you under the table. That's the lids. I can put them together and carry them around when I have a gig or something. And then let me see if I can show you the other tables without unplugging anything here. It's getting darker there without my lighting. Over there is another small table. Over there I have the Moog Mother 32. I have also, let me see, the Subharmonicon, the DFAM, also then from Make Noise, the Zero Coast. Then from Electron, I also have 2 devices, Digitone and Octatrack, that I like very much. Then the Zoya Empress effects, the pedal, like yeah, modular in one module where you can configure your own yeah, modules in a module, so to speak. And behind there in that corner, I can't go there because the cable isn't long enough, is my kids corner actually, because I wanted to have a corner where my son can play whenever he wants on the synthesizers. I think that would interest him. Like there's my Jomox drum machine, also my Casio ZZ5000, Korg Volca keys, like the little devices where if he would like to, he can just play around with.
Wow. Do you want to? Is there a setup? Are you set up to show anything else, or is it probably not to show up any to connect maybe the 2600 with another instrument? I always love how.
Oh, I didn't prepare anything for that. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Maybe next time.
Okay, sure, sure, sure. Wow. So let's open up questions for the audience. I would love
Yeah,
to.
sure.
There's a good crowd here, and I'm sure there's some questions here. So hey Bill Miller, hello. So please submit some questions, and I'm sure that she would be happy to answer. Let's see, there was one back here. There's a lot of positive comments.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, can you see the comments?
Yeah, from time to time, but I'm not concentrating right now. I'm more on showing around and I would need my glasses by now to read them.
So I have some questions. What are your next plans? Are you enjoying the idea that we're going to be uh, opening up soon? That all the countries seem to feel very optimistic about the COVID situation. And oh, we get some questions coming in. And how do you see your performance world coming together with this?
Yeah, I would love to perform more, definitely. I had some performances, but as most artists experienced way less than before the pandemic. And I would love to play again. And yeah, Superbooth is coming up in Berlin. I'm looking forward to that. I will be there for sure. I didn't miss one so far. It's really a very nice synth nerd gathering from all over the world. It's really fun and great concerts and workshops. And yeah, so that's always worth the trip. And yeah, I also have some projects coming. I also have yeah, in about 2 weeks, I have a guest lecture at an institute in Bristol via Zoom. That's a film institute. I'm looking forward to that, to showing my setup for a guest lecture and show how I use modulars to make melodies and to make sound design with it. And then after that, I have another nice live stream with the magazine I'm writing for, because I'm also writing articles for Sound and Recording, a German print magazine, and they have a podcast for about, I don't know, a year or so. And they invited me so I can talk to my colleagues in this podcast about modulars. That will be fun too. And yeah, and I have also some collaborations coming up that I can't talk about right not yet, but soon. Hopefully, I can soon tell more about that. Yeah, it's always something happening that's really, really nice.
Sounds exciting. All right, the questions have been coming in. Wagyu would like to know what's on your gear lust list right now. What piece of gear do you wish you could have?
Oh, good question. Because I gotta say, last year I got the beautiful Moog instruments. and I couldn't resist with the new Buchla. Buchla was always very interesting to me too, just because of the different approach and very different sound. But it was always a bit too, yeah, a little bit too expensive for me to just try out, to just check if it's for me. And now with the tip top audio Buchla modules, I just couldn't resist and just bought them right away. And I really like the sound. It's different, very different, but it's a very nice addition to my sound palette. And at the moment, I have to say I'm pretty fine with. I have very much gear, and sometimes I really feel like I have a bit too much because it can be very distracting. I feel like most of my instruments I only learned about, I don't know, 30% of what they can do, and also how you can interconnect them and, yeah, use them in different contexts, different songs, ambient, experimental, electronica tracks, and yeah, I want to learn them more, the single instruments, and how to use them more and explore them more, because there's so much gear out there, and I feel the more I get, the less I make music. That's somehow how I feel actually. So, but yeah, but there's always something out there. So, what would be on my list if I had to choose something at the moment? It's very difficult. I guess the next Buchla modules for Eurorack, because the first two were very, very, very intriguing.
Back. I'm back. I have no idea what I did, but it's there. Um, it's interesting because I sneak around on a lot of synth sites, the Pro Synth Network, synth memes. I'm sure a few people in this group would go there and whatnot. And there's always the joke about you can never have too much gear. But I think that a true artist of any kind could do just as much with one piece as with many pieces. So,
I
uh,
think so too, yeah. I think also Vangelis, I always was a big admirer of his music and his work, especially, of course, Blade Runner, but also his earlier and later work. And he was very fond of his CS80. And he also, how did he describe it? He said that a synthesizer is really an instrument you have to learn to play, like a piano, like a violin, like any other instrument. And yeah, what he got out of this instrument was just amazing,
amazing.
really just incredible. And yeah, I don't know, he had later on, I think, also very much gear, but I don't know that don't think he had like walls of modules, or has walls of modules, or everything there's out there. He just has his sound palette, and
Hmm.
I think that's what he's working with, I guess.
So Jim would like to know, how do you like the microcosm and how do you prefer to use it?
I like it. Yeah, you spotted it there. Yeah, I like it very much. It's yeah, and that's one of the devices actually which I know so far only for 20%, I guess, because you can loop in there, you can edit so many parameters in there. So far I'm like to use it rhythmically to yeah, play in a little melody and get rhythmical effects out of it, for example. And also the reverb is very beautiful. um but otherwise, I that's one of the devices I have to learn the other 70% still, how to use it in many more ways.
What features of the 2600 do you really like?
Many, very many. How much time do you have? So the main feature I really like is the design, I guess, the design and layout. Just because it's very yeah, educational, and has a, yeah, very nice laid out overview that you can see on the front panel right away. Then, oh yes, the filter. the filter. I have never ever heard again such a beautiful sounding filter, especially when it's in resonance mode, in full resonance. So if you have the resonance pulled to maximum and then play the filter with its cutoff frequency, it's hauntingly beautiful. And I've never ever heard a filter that is so smooth and still warm, though it's in full resonance mode. And yeah, you can really, I had a friend over once and he played half an hour really only melodies with this fader, and we all sat there and just watched him play and were just amazed how good it sounded. So that's one feature, and I'm really spoiled for any other filter ever since, to be honest. And also, yeah, I also like the sample and hold section. You can use it also as a main clock, for example, and clock some other functions in the ARP for other purposes, also for rhythmical things. And I also can, by the way, recommend the ARPatch book, the original ARPatch book. It has tons of great patch examples I wouldn't ever have come up myself with, like jungle sounds or three voice violin, or I don't know, like a monster bass truck sound, all those funny names. And they really sound good. And they're very educational too. So, yeah, that's also a good thing to try.
There's a funny patch book for the ARP Axe where they have a Klingon sound from Star Trek.
Oh, really?
There's a lot of funny patches out there. They got very inventive. Oh, terrific. Are you going to Superbooth?
Yes, I am. Definitely. It's in May, and I already have a place booked. I'll be there with my little family. And yeah, I'll be there from, I think, Friday and Saturday. I'm looking forward to it.
Very good. Um, okay. So James DeFrancisco, he says he's still learning, and I think he's in Massachusetts, so I'm going to say a big hello as well. I'm still learning how to use his 2600. What's the easiest way to get a decent lead patch?
A decent lead patch. Yeah, I think I would use two oscillators first, tune them however you like unisono or like pitches apart, however you want the sound to be. Then maybe add a little bit of noise to it over here with the noise generator. Of course, play around with the filter sound, and then just go from there, I would say. There are also some very nice lead sounds in the R patch book, actually, that you could check out. But with this lead sound, would maybe some slight modulation also on the filter cut off, for example.
I was going to suggest that, also to use, if you get some patches and deconstruct them, it's a really great way to learn how to make patches. So
Absolutely.
I've been spending the past year sort of deconstructing patches that people either give me or that I have learned. I also have been known, and this is some, if you see a demo that you like, take that iPhone, take that phone, take a picture of the patch. Again, this is what's so beautiful about this particular synthesizer is that you can really see everything mapped out very clearly. You can see where the sliders are. You can see where, you know, where the patch points are. So deconstructing, I think, is a great beginner way. Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah, let's see. Hmm. Okay. Ah, hey, Jeff. Um, oh, so yeah, James. Thank you, James. Yeah, exactly, Jeff. Um, so Wagyu said there were some new pics of Vangelis' studio recently. He does have a lot of gear now, but there's still
Oh,
the CS80. uh,
you're
thanks,
never safe
Syntexter.
of gas.
Syntexter, that was a great question. All right, let's see. Here we go. Oh, hey, David. We got people as far as Australia. Hello, David Van
Wow.
Pelt. Yeah.
Hi.
Hi. All right. All right. So, Jim Glue, do you use any software synths or DAW processing in your music?
Yeah, sure. I'm not only using analog strictly or something like that. Also, I'm working as also as a professional composer for the public radio station in Munich, and there I usually have limited time to deliver my compositions, and then I also, of course, use software synthesizers like the ones from Arturia, from example. I love them very much. Or, let me think. Synthesizers. I'm very much in love right now with the felt instruments. Those are not synthesizers. Those are sampled felt pianos and marxophones or mallets. Very beautifully sampled libraries, which you can play right away.
How is that
Uh,
spelled? I just want to put it in the chat. F-E-L-T?
f- yes, exactly. FELT instruments. And then I'll quickly have a quick look what I have installed here. Oh, the new Cosmos
Cosmos?
synthesizer by Genki Instruments. It's very interesting. I was, yeah, a bit surprised by the sounds and also by the interface. It's a bit experimental, but has very interesting sounds in it. I would definitely recommend them. And then also, yeah, Mantra. They have, though it's more like samples as well in an interface that you can play, but they have fantastic sounds on their on in their plugins. Mantra.io, very recommended. And what else do I have? Let me quickly look. Arturia. Yeah, I think mostly, yeah, also the native instruments, some of their plugins I'm using, of course. And yeah, and then here and there some smaller companies that I'm trying out from time to time.
Great. Ah. Oh, so Jeff Kellum mentions learning music with synthesizers by Dave Friend, my father, and Tom Pigott. I'll pull it out in a moment. But yeah, that's a great book. It's unfortunately it's out of print. You can actually get it on. Um, we have a link to it, I believe, on the website. If not, we will, because there's a PDF version of it on archive.org. Do you all know? If you all know about this archive.org, it has um, just a vast, infinite library of um everything from magazines and newspapers to websites from the past and digital archives of out of print materials, all those elusive user manuals that no one can find anywhere. So thanks for that, Jeff. That was great. All right. All right, so we're getting close to the end. There's another opportunity to ask another question or two. I am going to here we go. Yeah, Wagyu says he loves archive. It is a really great resource. We will be ending with another piece. This was from Superbooth 20.
Exactly.
Yeah, and is this that was a virtual Superbooth, if I recall correct?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the only thing, I think the only virtual super booth. But it was fun. It was fun. They really had many also manufacturers doing videos and artists doing concerts. That was, yeah, it was nice.
So, okay, last call for questions. I think we had some really great ones. Did I miss anything? Um, da, 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 da. There's a lot of wonderful comments. Wegu was talking about he had the first two Tip Top Bootlaw modules. All right. All right. Well, this is great. I just want to thank everyone for coming. We're gradually getting better in our streams. One of the things I've been doing a hard connection with not using uh, Wi-Fi anymore, and that seems to make a difference. Unless that's the reason why I froze, who knows? Technology is always a challenge, but I think that's technology is made by humans, and again, it's the joy of live performance. So thank you so much, Martha. I really, really appreciate your time and preparation for this. This is a great show. Really wonderful music. I love what you're doing. I was spending a lot of time listening to your music in the past week, and it's definitely put me in a really great mood, and I love the variety. The first piece that we opened with was, um, very rhythmic, slightly frenetic, a little bit energizing, and some of your music is also very soft and soothing. And I think there is one question I have to ask myself, and I haven't asked you yet. And this is way overdue, and I should have asked you earlier. As a woman in the synthesizer world, do you find that affects your reception or your playing, or how does it feel? Because I know that myself that I often feel like the minority, and I'm not a player. I'm just a representative. So tell me about what it's like to be a woman in the synthesizer world.
Yeah, sure. I know what you mean that sometimes one can feel like a representative, depending on who approaches you. And if somebody approaches you saying, yeah, we need a woman, would you like to step in? That's then you feel like a representative somehow, though that's also, I think it's fine that people more and more think about it, that there need to be more women in this panel or in this concert or venue or in this festival. And I think it's actually a good thing that they're thinking more about it and are aware that more women should be participating. And on the other hand, I think that the synthesizer community was, because as mentioned, I'm also a professional composer for the radio, and I had many freelance jobs as an audio engineer, remixer, whatever, just came along. And the synthesizer community was by far the most open one towards women, towards everyone, actually, and welcoming and warm-hearted. I really love the people there. Most of them are such just cool people, and very open-minded, as mentioned, and very few that are, I don't know, want to, or I get very few also online, just like bad comments,
Good.
or that's really, I really enjoy it. I'm very surprised often, though also hear stories of other women who have problems sometimes with men not taking them seriously. So maybe I'm lucky, or I don't know. Maybe it's also because my very first friends with most of.
Oh, now we have her frozen. Uh-oh. Oh God.
Am I back again?
You are back again. Yeah. You're frozen a little bit. We were doing so well. Oh no. Do you want to call back in? I think this is important, and there's another important question that I missed that I would like to get in. We still have a few more minutes, so. Ah. So I'm going to, oh, no, Jim, it wasn't you. Uh, Maybe we have a bit of
I'm
cyber.
not sure.
There you are. I hear your voice.
Ah, okay.
Okay.
Then I'll just should I finish the story about
Oh, please finish the story. We'll just,
Great. So maybe also because in my first job, and I don't want to name the company because I'm now friends with most of the colleagues back then, but that was quite hard for me. I was the first woman there, starting in the audio department, and I didn't have a good time at all. At the beginning, I wasn't taken seriously at all. I was quite young, and that was quite difficult for me, to be honest. But I made it somehow through and kept on working there. And maybe I learned somehow to, I don't know, get along with those kind of men who are a little bit, I don't know, yeah, can be, how should I put it, not too comforting or too nice to women.
you know, things are getting better, and I think they're getting better in leaps and strides. I think it was wonderful to hear have the Sisters with Transistors to show that women in electronic music is actually not a new thing, but it's something that has been happening for the greater part of the last century as well, and now this century. What I'm looking forward to is a time where we don't have to say women synthesist or a women composer, where it's just composer or synthesist. And I think that's really important. One more question, and then I'm going to end for real this time. And this is from Wagyu, if he's still here. I apologize. Are there any dream collaborations with any artist you would like to take part?
Oh, many. Vangelis. That would be amazing. Suzanne Charney, Caitlin Aurelia Smith, Jean-Michel Jarre. If any of you hear me, Massive Attack. Oh God, Pink Floyd. Some members of them, or yeah, many who I would really. So if anybody hears me, I'm free.
Okay. Very good. Oh, that was from Syntexture. Oh, okay, great. All right. Everyone, again, thank you for your patience and your support. We would not be here without you. This is our venue to meet people and learn and get introduced to some beautiful music. At the end of this video, there is a list of all the different ways you can uh, find and hear Panic Girl's music. She's on Bandcamp. She has a website. She has a YouTube channel. So there's a lot more where this came from. So please support her. Please also, if you can, donate to our website. We are not allowed to monetize videos with published music, just so you know, which is why I don't have the big button today. But I'm very grateful if you all could stop by and drop us $1 or two. No amount is too small for a not-for-profit. All right, great. So we're going to end with the Superbooth piece and like that. So let's see if I can get my windows in order. I was so desperately trying to to fix the audio and the video here that I believe it all became a little bit messy here. There are my scenes. Martha, take care. Have a wonderful night.
Thanks so much for having me. I had
And
a
thank
great
you.
time. Thank you
And
so
everyone
much.
also, it was just her birthday, so stop by her page or pages and wish her a belated happy birthday. You can have
Thank you.
too much birthday love as far as I'm concerned. All right.
Thank you so much.
Martha, we're having some problems with the sound.
You in, oh